Hello, welcome to another special edition of the No Choftes podcast on the OLB. I'm Stel, as per usual, and I've got a co-host again. He's back, game number 2. Roy, hello there.
Hello, boys. How are you? Glad
Nahara,
to
man.
be here with you, man. Glad
Segala.
Yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm relieved that Omonoia won, and I'm really happy to be with you and Fofi. Yeah, Fofi.
Well, you've just done the lovely segue for me, Philip. It's a pleasure to have Fofi on the show. How you doing, my friend?
Fine. I'm more happy because Omonoia won today. You know, they make one good step today.
Exactly, top of the league now. Busting Gorifi, we're there.
Yes, sir.
Fofi, did you watch the game?
Yes, I watch the game. Was a little bit difficult, but Omonoia find a way to score.
I was telling Roy the other day that maybe we're playing against a team that likes to put 10 players behind the ball when it's up to us to break them down, and we did it, which is the main thing.
Yeah, this is normal actually, because when you're playing against one team like Paralimni that are trying to stay in the league, for sure they will try to everything possible to take a result. So I think that they know that this game was going to be difficult, but the most important was the 3 points, so they took it.
Yes.
Do you know what? I was very impressed with Berg's tactical switch, because he played Duris and Shepovic up front in the last 20 minutes, half an hour of the game. And I think that made a big difference, because it's the physicality. You need strong players. I know that obviously Shepovic was up front on his own before, and we had 3 in behind him with Babuliz, with who else was there, Roy? It was Botiak
and
forget now. I've forgotten.
It
was Thiago. Yeah, see, it was Thiago. See, we forgot that's how bad he was. We actually forgot that he was playing. So, when we went to 4-4-2, it seemed to work better. 2 big strikers up front.
Yes, because the game was difficult, and the coach managed to find a better way to try to go for more attack to try to win the game. So I think the last part of the game was crucial, because the players were tired, and but they try and they score the goal. And actually, I think the 3 point was the best for Omonoia today.
Big point.
Difficult, but the win.
Big 3 points. Big 3 points.
3 points are the most important, I think. Yeah.
It's another game with a clean sheet. 2-0 last week.
Yes, when we are playing.
Yes.
Sorry.
Karen Fofi.
Yeah, Fofi. Waiting for you.
Tell me again.
Yeah, you were saying when you play against a difficult team, yes?
Yes.
Yes, when you play against a difficult team, you have to have a patience, because you know that this team, they're gonna defend a lot, and you need mentally to be strong to face the game. And at the end, they take the 3 point, and this is very important. And one thing like Omonoia now in this league, 3 point is very important in every field they were going to play. Yes. So today was good that they took the 3 point for the next game.
Yes,
correct.
Important 3 points. Yes, against the team who was won and has been impressive the last few games, and has been winning a lot of points. So winning away from home against Enos is, I think, that is really crucial.
There you go. Right, Fofi, let's talk about your career, my friend, and let's start from the beginning. You are from, there you go, you're from the Cote d'Ivoire. That's right, yeah? Ivory Coast, as we know it. And
yes, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast.
There you go, see? And you're from the Zanzan district, is that correct?
From Abidjan, Ivory Coast.
Yeah. So where you live, there's maybe what 50,000, 60,000 people where you lived originally.
Let's say a little bit more.
A little bit more,
More
yeah?
than 6,000. Yeah.
And you play
Because
for
okay, the city I live is little bit big and a lot of inhabitants in there.
lovely. And you at Sabe Sports de Buna, is that correct?
Yes, Sabe Sport de Buna.
Yeah. See, I know these things. I know these things.
Yes, I start my career to start to play in first division in Sabe Sport de Buna. Sabe Sport de Buna gave me the opportunity because actually I was at that time I was playing in one academy named Sila Efre. And after they give me the opportunity to make a trial, and that team was playing for first division, and the trial went well, and then the rest was good until today.
Fofi, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you in Cote d'Ivoire during the civil war between 2002 and 2004?
2002, 2004, I was in Ivory Coast. I was in Abidjan. It was a difficult moment that time, but that time the situation was not so bad. At that time, was the country was divided in two sides, but in Abidjan the situation was calm, but in the north of the country the situation was a little bit difficult. But we were trying to live our day by day until 2000 until the situation become more better.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is it, because you had the north, which was occupied by the rebels, and the south, you had the government, didn't you? So it must have been very difficult to even travel around the country. You probably wouldn't have wanted to travel around the country, would you?
Yes, it was very difficult to travel between the north and the south and the south. That time the league, we still continue to play the league, but when we are going to play in the north with another team, okay, because we are a football team, the things was a little bit easy for us to travel to between the city in Ivory Coast. But it was a difficult moment, but because we are football player, okay, we don't feel this situation as the normal population was feeling a difficult moment at that time.
Well, the main thing is you were safe, and you ended up going to Coimbra with one of your teammates. Was it Patrick Vuho? He was your teammate. You both went to the same club at the same time.
My teammate. Yeah, Patrick Vuho. We were teammates in Sabe Buna, and we played the league together until 2007. We got a proposal coming from Portugal, from Académica Coimbra, and then we finished the league in Ivory Coast, and at the end of the league we traveled to Portugal in 2007, and then we went there in Académica of Coimbra for trial. Okay, the first days was very difficult. It was difficult, but we managed to do it with our passion for the football. We managed to stay in the team and play for Académica and have a professional contract out of Ivory Coast.
Was there a link between the two teams? Because as I mentioned, your teammate went out there as well. So was there an agreement between the two teams, maybe like a development agreement?
Yes, okay, the Académica was trying to make one agreement for the future of their some players, to make one agreement to bring some young players, quality players to Portugal, to Académica. And so we were like a road for the other players. So they have an agreement that if the things went well for me and Vo, and we have a good performance, the team Sabe Sport de Buna was going to have a lot of facility of bars to travel, football staff, these things, because in Africa these things are a little bit difficult to have it. So it was a good opportunity for Sabe at that time to have this good agreement to bring more staff for the player that are playing for Sabe and for the academies.
And that's very important, especially for Cote d'Ivoire, who at the time, 2006, they qualified for the World Cup. You had players like Yaya Toure, blimey, Kolo Toure, obviously, Gervinho, a lot of good players. And they're still producing youngsters now and good players that have played at the top level. So for you to leave, your country to go to Portugal, you're probably thinking, maybe one day I'll play for Cote d'Ivoire, the national team, no?
Yeah, this is the dream of every young African player. This is a dream of every young African player because, the situation, they are looking for opportunity, opportunity to show themselves, because when you love football, you're gonna do everything, to succeed, and so for a young African player traveling to Europe to show is a dream coming true. Is a dream coming true when you love football. And I know many young African players from Ivory Coast, from many African countries. This is their biggest dream, because the facilities you can have playing in one team in Europe is totally different, and having this opportunity can make you grow more as a person and as a good football player mentally.
Absolutely. I forgot to mention one player, because Ivory Coast had many quality players like Eboué, but I forgot to mention Didier Drogba. Was he your favorite player? Did you model your game on him?
Yes, Didier Drogba is a big example for our country and the football of Ivory Coast. He make a big career. He played for the national team. He was a dream. It was a big dream for every young player in Ivory to be like Drogba, playing at a big level. It make dream many young players. Even me, I was dreaming when I saw Didier Drogba playing in Europe. In that time, it was a dream for me to become a footballer. And many players like Yaya Toure, Didier Drogba, Kolo Toure. Now there is more young players. Zaha, they are making proud the Ivory Coast here in out of Ivory Coast.
That's right. You got Eric Bailly as well, the central defender. You got Khadija. I know he's 31 years old, but Nicola Pepe, who's at Arsenal. So they've still got a lot of talented players. But when you were growing up,
Nicola Pepe,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Max Gradel, he's still playing, isn't he? Max Gradel, Sebastian Haller, he's gone to Ajax from West Ham.
Max Gradel, yeah.
So good players, very good players.
Yeah.
But Fofi, when you were
playing now in Max Gradel.
Yep, Saint Etienne, isn't he? Saint Etienne. Max Gradel's at Saint Etienne now. Can't remember. I think he is. I think it was a Saint Etienne. I'm not sure.
Yeah, now he signed he's playing Sivasspor in Turkey now.
Oh, he's in Turkey. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, Okay, fair enough. So, Fofi,
Yeah.
one more.
Yes.
So one more thing before we talk about your time in Cyprus. When you were growing up as a kid, who were the players that you idolized? Because I'm thinking maybe you're looking at the other African players, like, I don't know, Daniel Amokachi, Yakini from Nigeria, maybe JJ Okocha, who else? Tony Yeboah, Ghana. Are those kind of players that you were looking at?
Yes. Was a player we were watching playing at the TV. In our young age, they were making us dream. We were going. I remember even Yekini. He played for one club in Ivory Coast. I remember that time he was playing for one team in Ivory Coast named Africa Sport National. He was playing, and we were going to the stadium watching them play. Full. The stadium is full. We were young kids. We love to watch football. We were going to the stadium, enjoying that time, but not knowing that we will turn a professional football player today. But all this atmosphere make me feel to become a football player at that time.
Do you remember Sunday Olise? Do you remember Sunday Olise?
Yeah, Sunday Olise.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a few times. I interviewed him maybe a year ago, and we were talking about the Atlanta Olympics in '96 when Nigeria won the gold and they beat Argentina and they beat Brazil. It was an amazing time with Kanu, with all these other fantastic footballers, and it made the whole of Africa proud, didn't it?
Yeah. Africa produced very many big players at the higher level, like George Weah. George Weah was one of the greatest African players, like Abedi Pele, also Nwankwo Kanu. They were players that was making us dream, making us proud, in Africa proud at that time.
It's very difficult to select the 11 best players coming out of Africa because there have been so many fantastic players. But let's talk about your time at Omonoia, my friend, because I know you spent some time at another team, well, a couple other teams in Cyprus. One of them we're not going to mention, are we, Roy? But Roy's got a question about a certain game in a Europa League game against Dynamo Moscow. Do you want to ask that question, Roy?
Yeah, basically, I've got a few questions to ask Fofi, but they're not, the questions, I didn't put them like in a sequence in which, of importance, but I'm going to be asking you questions and going from like maybe something more important to something less important. But obviously some of the questions, some of my queries, Stel just asked and we've covered, but firstly, I'd like to ask you, how did you end in Cyprus? I mean, obviously from the Ivory Coast, you played in Portugal, and then you came for Nice. So, how did you come to Cyprus? What was the, who brought you to Cyprus? What was the circumstances in which you came to Cyprus?
It was at that time was many things. When I was in Academica, I played one full season in Academica. After I went in loan to Santa Clara, I played 2 seasons there. And after I go back to Covelien in 2nd division. And so I played 2 seasons in Covelien. I was playing my last season. I have a call from Doxa. From Doxa, and they sent me a proposal to join Doxa to play 1st division. Actually, in Portugal, I was playing 2nd division, and I was 27, 28 at that time, 2012. I wanted to play the 1st division to show myself, because I didn't have this big opportunity in Portugal to show myself in the 1st division. So I say, why not go and try in Cyprus? So this was it was a dream for me to play in 1st division. to show myself, to show my quality. So I say, whenever I will be, no matter what country, first division is first division. So why not? Let's try. And I accept the proposal of Doxa, and I came to Cyprus. And thank God, things went well. And as you know, I make one season, full season in Doxa, fantastic season. And that time with the Ricardo Fernandez and some players from Portugal. And we have a good season. I have a good season also. I score 13 goals. I remember that year. And after I have a transfer for Anorthosis.
Yes.
And from Anorthosis, I have a good season. And then I have the proposal. Omonia was, to be fair, it was a team that I wanted to play for.
Yeah.
So since I get the opportunity to sign for Omonia, I didn't think twice. It was a decision that make me happy. And after, you know, the rest of the story, you know.
Okay. So basically, with what you're saying, you sort of answer a few of the rest of my questions, because, you know, obviously, I was going to ask you, because, you know, the story is eventually going to lead to Omonia, and basically my question is that you've been to Cyprus since I think it's 2012 when you first came to Cyprus, and now it's so you've been in Cyprus for almost 9 years now.
Yes.
And you've played for 4 or 5 teams, maybe more, but, you know, my next question was going to be, which team is the one you feel more associated to, and more, you know, that you enjoyed your time there, and you know, you felt more, you know, pride in playing for a certain team. Obviously, playing for Anorthosis is also a big achievement, but, you know, it seemed to me that years later in your career that you're more affiliated to Omonia, even though you just spent a year there. That, you know, it seemed at the time that you played for Omonia, you know, people loved you, you enjoyed the football there, even though you had some difficult times, not necessarily linked to football, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to touch that subject, but, you know, generally when it comes to football, I think you enjoyed your time, and I think you were loved a lot by the fans, and you seem to be enjoying your football and being able to play at, you know, your full sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'd like to ask you just that. It's more of a general question, not so specific. So yeah, if you'd like to talk a bit about your time in Omonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not because, okay, we are discussing now in interview from some you know, Omonia fans and this, but to be honest, Omonia, really, I don't know, I feel home. When I went to Omonia, I was feeling that this is the place that I want to be.
Okay.
Because like you say, I have some situation happen, but I really enjoy, especially with the people,
Yeah.
you know, with the fans. The love that they give to the players, the love that they give to the team. I think, no, I haven't played in Anorthosis, but it's totally different. It was totally different. The love that the Omonia fans have given to me, I don't know if I can give them back, but the only way I could give them is to show, to fight in the field, every way to try to win games, make them happy, because this was the only thing the fans were waiting for, you know. So my best time really, it was in Omonia. When I was in Omonia, I enjoy a lot. I enjoy a lot in the pitch and out of the pitch. More out of the pitch with the fans.
Yeah, that was basically the feeling I got, even though, you know, you were at a time in Omonia where obviously Omonia didn't manage to reach their targets, you know, as far as their history depended. But, you know, it was at a time that, you know, still it was a crucial time. And I want to go to the game of Dinamo against Dinamo Moscow, where for me, it was a make or break time for Omonia. Obviously, later on faced a lot of financial problems. And I think that game, other than like the prestige that game would have given to Omonia, it was an opportunity that might have changed the history of Omonia later on, because that game could have obviously helped Omonia financially. And then Omonia had to, you know, live with that burden of that disqualification, which was, you know, very bad for us, both psychologically, but otherwise as well, because that led to another 4 or 5 years that Omonia was struggling financially and otherwise. And I would like your opinion about that thing as well.
Yes, that time it was difficult, and if that game of Dinamo were qualified for the group of Europa League, obviously it was going to help Omonia in general, you know, financially, bring better players, to fix many things, many problems inside of the team. But that day was, I don't know how to describe it. After that game, it's like I don't know to describe this feeling, you know, because maybe my feeling was bad, but at the time I was trying to put myself onto the fans. The dream they have before this game, the dream they're gonna have after this game, you know, for the future. And the atmosphere that day, I couldn't wait anything except the victory. But the situation was catastrophic. It was difficult.
But Fofi, we went into the game 2-2, 2 away goals. Lovely. Hold on, we can go through to the group stages, and then you score a goal in the first 2 minutes. And the thing is, they've disallowed it for something that even the commentator, you can watch it over and over again, and the commentator saying, "Ball, where's the foul?" And no matter how many times you see it, even the rules of football have changed a little bit. It's less physical than what it was back then, and that's not even a long time ago, really. But even now, how would that be a foul? I don't understand. I don't.
No, it was nobody understand why the referee give a foul on that situation, because was the 2 players of Dinamo, the collapse, and me, I just took the ball and I scored. But the referee decided by his way. You know, it was difficult. And after we have an opportunity to score another goal that was offside. That was not offside. And you know, we managed to stay on the game, difficult game, until the last minute. And you know what's happened. You can try to give everything in the field, but if the decision of the referees or outside, whatever, I don't know, is against you, you cannot do anything. And this was the case of Omonia on that day.
The worst thing about it was the foul was on Moreira, right, the goalkeeper. That was 10 times more of a foul than yours on the defenders.
Yeah.
And at what point are the players and the staff going to say, this is fixed? There's got to be something about this referee, maybe paid. I don't know. It seemed very, very suspicious, didn't it?
Yes, obviously, there is no other reason. There is no other situation you're gonna go trying to go to find somewhere, because I remember before during the game I received a yellow card, I think, in that game, and I remember the referee saying me that we're gonna have a long day today. You understand? So at this time, okay, is you you are in the temper of the game, you know, you are inside the game, so you don't try to think that what's the referee is trying to say by we're gonna have a long day. So, you know, it's all days after the game, after the situation, after you analyze what's happened during the game, then you start to think that obviously this game it was not for us. No matter what you are going to do, it was going to be difficult for us.
I think it shows you how well the team did, given the opponents as well. They had the Samba, they had Kurani. I think Kurani was in the team, wasn't Kurani in the team at the time?
Kurani, they have
Valbuena.
Valbuena, they have Kukuri, a lot of players, good players, great players. They have at that time, and you know, they invest a lot of money at that time in Dynamo, you know. And after when you sit and you analyze, you know that Omonia was not the team that were going to qualify for the Europa groups.
That's right. And that season, we had some very big wins. We beat Anoptosi 3 times, I believe, that season. Twice, and I think was it twice in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Beat AEL. Well, unfortunately, we only got defeats against Apollon, and there was a shock against Ayanaba. Roy, do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember.
Difficult time for Gayafa, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It tilted it towards, you know, him leaving the club. I think that game was very decisive as far as the rest of his history, Omonia, you know. But yeah, I mean, you know, that game with Dinamo was. I like listening to Fofi now talking, and especially, you know, the story he said about him getting booked. It just, you know, just made me, you know, relive the moment. I remember that moment. I'm never going to forget. One of my worst experiences ever watching a game, man. So yeah, it's just.
Yeah, me too. It was. I couldn't qualify myself. I couldn't think about myself. Really, I was just thinking about the fans, the atmosphere. You know, the stadium was crazy.
It was record-breaking attendance, I think, that game. And I remember taking a friend of mine from Ecuador. Actually, he came to Cyprus, and I was like, "Let's go to the game." And he went there, and he was like, "Wow, look at the atmosphere and look at the people." And he was like, "This is shocking." I mean, as a player, as a person who you know, he just came as a guest. You know, I took him as a guest and was like, "Seriously, is this thing happening? You know, what's going on?" You know, and now listening to Fofi talking about things that was happening in the stadium, and like the referee actually admitting to him that it's going to be a long day, you know, just made me relieve the pain of that game. You know,
it was painful, to be honest. It was painful. It was game that have a big impact in my career. I will never forget this day. It will be one of the most beautiful day as a footballer, seeing the stadium crazy, and at the same time the worst day of my career as a footballer.
Yeah, it answers like one of my questions, because I was going to ask you what was your favorite moment out of Omonia, and then the worst moment, and I was sort of expecting that this would be your answer. You know, this would be your answer, but you know, yeah, that game was important in more than one way. It wasn't just a disqualification from like a European game, but it was what it cost Omonia in the rest of its history, both financially and otherwise. You know, I think the history would have been written in a different way had Omonia qualified in that game. So yeah, so if you don't mind me, you know, moving on from that game, because obviously that can just, you know, relieve bad memories. I'd like to ask you, what what were other games that you remember? Obviously, you scored a goal against Upwell that we equalized, and that was an amazing goal. And I wanted to ask you about that game, the electricity and the atmosphere you felt. Did you ever feel that emotion in any other game in your years in Cyprus, like the Omonoia Upwell game, the derby? You know, scoring a goal against Upwell. How did that feel?
Great feeling as a player, and for the fans is even big feelings. You know, it was a big feeling for me coming in the game. I remember I was in the bench. Kayafas called me,
You came on.
Fofana, go for warm up. I'm gonna put you now. Go inside, try your best, give your maximum.
Yes.
And it's what I did. I went inside the game. I created some great situation in that game, and at the end, I scored that crazy goal. Full of stadium is full. You know, at the time celebrating the goal. You know, feeling the derby. You know, derby Omonoia is always something that you always keep on you, and especially when you score one goal. Stay always in your mind.
In your heart and your mind, yes. Okay. So some more general questions I'd like to ask you. You know, I don't want to obviously stay at that, but like I'd like to ask you about. Obviously, you answered that, you know, your time in Omonoia was the best part of your career in Cyprus, but like I'd like to ask you about the squad Omonoia had at that time, the year 2014, 2015, where you were at Omonoia. You played with some very good players. Do you still keep in touch with some of these players? Who can you tell us some nice moments that we don't know, like some funny moments, some bad moments? Do you still keep in touch with some of these players and all of that, like something different to the just like, you know, talking about a game? It was just like moments.
Yes, I still chatting with some player like Nuno Assis, like Mikhail Puti.
Okay.
Me and Mikhail Puti, since we met in Omonoia, we become a great friends. Okay. We're still talking every week, still giving news to each other, talking sometimes about our moments in Omonoia. You know, at that time we have a great squad. You know, some good player with Nuno Assis, fantastic player. Really, is for me is one of amazing player I have been playing with.
Yes.
He's with his age, what he was doing in the field, the passion he was giving to the game was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. We have a great moment that after I remember after the game, the first game away against Dinamo.
Yes.
It was crazy. It was crazy after the game when we are coming back to the hotel. We are singing, we are dancing, you know, taking news from Cyprus from friends here in Cyprus, in Russia. You know, they are talking about. We don't imagine the impact we have to the fans here in Cyprus because we were playing away. You know, when we came back to Cyprus, it was amazing. When we go back to the first training after the game, it was amazing. The fans, you know, congratulations to congratulate all the players. You know, we have a lot of fans. You know, and this was moment that it was nice. It was nice to live this moment, you know, with the fans. You know.
Okay, so moving on. I mean, obviously the questions are not, you know, I don't have them in a sequence, so we're jumping from like one thing to another. But you know, these are questions that, you know, I've asked some friends as well if they've got any questions to ask you. So obviously, after almost 9 years being in Cyprus, and moving closer to the end of your career, do you consider Cyprus as like your second home? What are your plans? How do you see yourself like 2 or 3 years from now? Obviously now you're playing for a Gialli Rodonda, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself, in 2 or 3 years? Do you think you're going to be staying in Cyprus? How do you see your career in a few years from now?
From now, really, I'm trying to enjoy, day by day, to enjoy what. But to be honest, I don't see myself right now out of Cyprus.
Okay.
I have been here many years. I have a lot of friends. I built something with some people. Maybe you don't know, but I built many good relationship with people here. So in many years, even after my career, I will still be in Cyprus because after the loss of my son, as you know, my son was buried here in Cyprus. So for me, it's something that's gonna keep me in Cyprus, I think, forever, because I cannot be far anymore. So in the future, I see myself here in Cyprus, nowhere else.
Fofi, do you know what? We weren't. I don't think Roy and I were sure of how to get onto the subject of your son, because it's a very tragic moment in your life, and as a parent, the last thing we want to see is to bury our children. But I know the Omonoia fans were very supportive for you, which is a great thing. But at the same time, football comes second when it comes to family, and that must have affected you in such a big way that season, especially.
I remember it was very difficult for me, difficult time, but the support I have from the fans, from the committee of Omonoia at that time, I cannot describe. It was, the help was coming from everywhere. From everywhere, the help was coming, and really I was feeling love it. I was feeling love in that difficult moment, and the fans, they helped me a lot to overcome of this situation, as you know. And after I remember even the day I lost my son, it was the presentation of the team on that day. I remember. Yes, it was the presentation of the team, and we were at the presentation in the hotel with the fans, discussing, talking with the fans, and I had a call, and I have to leave after to the hospital, and after the next day I lost my son. But it was a difficult moment, but the fans, they helped me a lot to overcome this situation.
He contracted malaria, is that correct?
Yes, it was malaria. Yeah.
So did this all happen in Cyprus at the time? Because I don't know the full story. Obviously, no one's really going to know the full story because this is your life, and it's your business, it's your personal business. So did he contract it in Cyprus, or were you abroad at the time when it first happened? Do you remember?
Yes, he was not in Cyprus, he was abroad. We went for a holiday. Went with my family to Ivory Coast, and when we came back, I was in preparation with Omonoia in Poland. And after my son was in Cyprus, after the preparation, I came back to Cyprus. 3 days ago, my son got sick. I brought him to the hospital, and they found that was malaria. But the sickness was already developed, and so the bad that couldn't find at the time the medicine, and at that time, and before they find the medicine was difficult, was late, and after what's happened.
Fofi, how do you cope with something like that? It must be very, very difficult, obviously, but to go day to day, playing your career. I know that football is a little bit of an escapism, but how do you constantly continue playing football when something like this is happening? It must be very, very difficult.
Yes, difficult, but really football was my only option to overcome this situation. Nothing else. Football was the only place that I could feel better. And I remember after I buried my son, 2 or 3 weeks after I wanted to go back to the field because it was the place that I was feeling better. I was feeling that I will overcome this situation only in the pitch, seeing my friends playing football, seeing the fans shouting, enjoying in the field, the message they are sending me, the love they are sending me. So this was the way that I tried to overcome. It was not easy, but when I was in the field, I was aware of this situation.
Well, thank you for discussing this, Fofi. I mean, like I said, we weren't planning on asking you this because it was just one of those things that sometimes we feel maybe you don't really want to be asking those kind of questions because it's still new, really. It's only 7 years ago. It's not a long time.
Yeah.
So it's obviously still a deep wound. Roy, you were going to say something?
Yeah, basically, I was trying to move like a bit swiftly from the subject because obviously,
you feel a little bit uncomfortable there, right?
Yeah, for us being parents, I mean, I had a little situation with my daughter about a week ago, and I can't imagine how it was, losing your child rather than my daughter had to go to an operation, and I remember myself like being lost for about a week or two, but I just want to move on. I'm just going to ask Fofi about any moments in your career that you would have done different, maybe some regrets, maybe how was it leaving from Omonoia?
He regrets joining Anorthosis. That's his regret.
Yeah, I don't want to say that, man, but anyway, I just wanna ask him, he only played for a year for Omonoia, but he's been in Cyprus for almost now 9 years. Is it 9?
Yes, 9 years. Yes, 9 years in next July.
Okay, so obviously playing just like a year for Omonoia, and any regrets, the reasons you left Omonoia, before we move into some different questions I'd like to ask you. So what was the situation back there when you left Omonoia? Why did you think you'd done enough to earn another year or two at Omonoia? What was the reason you left Omonoia at that time? Or what do you think was the reason?
To be honest, my big regret was leaving Omonoia at that time, but there is some situation, happen in football. Sometimes you cannot control.
Yeah.
So, and because I'm a person that I love football, I love football, and when you start to understand that some situation gonna affect maybe what you build as a football player, and how gonna affect how the people see you as a football player. If I feel that you're gonna affect the people that love me, I prefer to take the better decision for me and for how the people are thinking about me, for what I have built. And so it was a difficult moment that time. It was not my decision. It was not my decision actually, but the situation was difficult. But I prefer to live for the best of the team, because Omonoia was one team that have provided me a lot in my career as well. So one of the reasons that I left Omonoia, I regret the time I left, but it was for the good reason for me personally.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that he had a lot to do with the people that were running the club? Because we know in Cyprus there are players that come and go. They join for a year, then they leave. Some might join for 2 years. It's very rare that a player will stay 5, 6, 7 years at a football club in Cyprus, especially now. So would you say, I mean, I'm not trying to put you in an awkward situation, Fofi, but do you think that it's something to do with the people upstairs at the club? Maybe the way that they're distributing money to certain players and maybe wages and all that as well?
Yes, for sure, for sure. Players are, as you say, player come 1 season, maximum 2 seasons, and they left the team. This is the way it's work here, I think, in many teams here in Cyprus. And these decisions are coming from up, and if you are not in the plan anymore of one team, you cannot force yourself to to stay there. So most of the time the decision is coming from up.
Fair enough. And what about players you played with? I mean, you mentioned Nuno Assis. I think Leo was there at the same time as well, wasn't he?
Yes, Leo.
In terms of players who you've played with, I know there's another player that was quite okay at Omonoia, and he's now playing for another team, but we're not going to mention him, are we, Roy? Who he was a good player. Let's be fair. So, if you want to talk about players that you've played alongside, were there any particular players that really stood out? I mean, we look at someone, for example, like Jordy Gomez, and you can tell he's played in the Premier League because, even though he's a central midfielder, he's got eyes on the back of his head. He knows where there's another player. He knows that, someone's going to be running 20 yards that way or 30 meters that way. He knows when to release the ball. Was there a player that stood out for you out at the club, or maybe more than one player?
Yes, as I say, Nuno Assis was that kind of player. Was that kind of player that sometimes you think he's doing magic, but it was unbelievable. You have to live with him every day in the training, in the games, to see what he's doing. For me, it was a big example for me, because the difference of age between me and Nuno Assis was not so much, but looking Nuno Assis in the training or in the game, running, giving all for the team.
There were a lot of players from outside of Cyprus in the squad, people from Ivory Coast, people from different regions of Africa, Portugal. You must have had some fantastic parties and great dancing at halftime or at full time, music playing in the training ground.
Yes. Okay, actually in Portugal, I remember my first game. Was the first professional game I played. Was against Pass Ferreira, and I have a fantastic game that day. We won the game. After we went to the dressing room, and I was 21 years old at that time, and for me it was a new experience. And after the game, I remember was one great player in Portugal, in the Portugal history, championship of Portugal, Pedro Roma, a goalkeeper. He come to me, he say me, you are a crazy player, you are a good player. Do you know that? I say, I try my best. He say, you are a good player. Continue on that way. And today we're gonna celebrate on this victory for you. So we were dancing, we were, enjoying that time. It was crazy for me.
What about Omonoia though? You must have had some great parties, or after the game, you play music in the dressing room or in training. As I said, many different nationalities at the club.
Yes, for sure. If you try to remember some game, when we score, we try to dance on the pitch with Cote, with all the players. Since we do one move, everybody is following. It was even not knowing that from where is coming the dance. So we were, it was nice. Everybody mixed together. Looking for trying to enjoy in the same way.
So which music were you guys playing? Which music were you playing in the dressing room after the game or before the game? Was there any music you were playing?
It's all mix, from Ivory
Afrobeat,
Coast,
reggae, reggaeton, anything like that?
yes, reggaeton, music from Spain, from Ivory Coast, some even the Greek music. I start to listen to Greek music from Pantelis. Pantelis is this time, this is singer that I love a lot, and we have this diversity in the dressing room. Players from Spain, from Portugal, from Ivory Coast, from Benin, Cote at that time, from France, from Maragasa, all the we do not see all. It was a great atmosphere. We are so close that time. It was amazing.
Is there a player that you were closer to? I mean, back in the day, we were playing at Omonoia. I mean, obviously, as far as quality was concerned, you mentioned Nuno Assis, but like, did you have a roommate or a person that you were closer to at your time in Omonoia?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that time, I was too close to Michael Putte.
Yeah.
My roommate, we everything together was the player that I was too close in Omonoia. That's why until today we still have a great relationship.
Okay. Do you know the reason he left Omonoia to go to the other team of Nicosia?
It's a long story,
I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
maybe we can ask him one day, Roy.
Yeah, maybe we can ask him. Yeah.
Why not? It was a long story, but for him, I think he needed to change a little bit, atmosphere to go to another championship, to try
You're being very kind with him, Fofi. You're being very kind with him. Okay, so
it was the one challenge that he wanted to accept for his own self, going to another league, try to show that what he have been done in Cyprus, to try to.
And anyway, I'm not going to try and put you in a difficult position. I'm not going to try and put you in a difficult position, but okay. Do you have any regrets so far in your career? Any regrets? Would you, if now you're 36, 37 years old, if you had the knowledge you have now, would you have done anything different in your career?
No, I cannot say that I have a regret for something, because I enjoy everywhere, because I love football. Whenever I play, if I'm in the pitch, it is the things that make me proud. So looking behind me for many years, 10 years ago, I don't have any regrets until today. In football, I enjoy every moment I have, difficult or a good moment. Yeah. I enjoy everything. I enjoy everything because this was maybe what was my.
your fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So until today, I don't have any regret, and whenever I will enjoy always myself in the field.
Okay, so basically, I don't know if Stel's got any other questions you'd like to ask you. There's one more thing I'd like to ask you before I move into something a bit more lighter, just to finish the finish it off on a lighter note. You know, I think there was a time that, you know, it was rumors or whatever that there was a chance that you might have played in the northern side of Cyprus. There was interest in teams in northern Cyprus that wanted to sign you. Is that true? Were you close ever to signing for a team there? Did you actually play there? Because I wasn't sure. I mean, I would read some news that you were close to signing for a team playing in northern Cyprus. Is that true?
No, it was not true. I remember, okay, I went there for one caritative game.
Yes.
Yes, was some big player like Nwanko Kanu, like Lualua.
I remember that, but then it just was blown out of proportion, and they said that you might play for a team there. And because after following your career, I never saw that you actually made that move there. So, you know, I was just wondering, I wanted to clear it up.
No. It was, I didn't receive any offer to go to play for a substitute. And this is not even in my plan.
Okay, and just like to finish it off on like a, you know, a more positive sort of or funny note, you know. So you've been in Cyprus for a lot of years. There's a question I've got from a friend of mine. Do you prefer fried cassava or French fries? Like, do you miss food? What food do you like from Cyprus? Is there something you like more about the Cypriot food? Is there something you miss from your country, or, you know, whatever? Like, just to finish it off on a like more light sort of.
Yes, here I like too much. One food is the traditional way of cooking the snails.
Ah, snails, nice. Escargot.
Yes, escargot. I love it. Wow. I have one tavern here whenever I got the chance, I'm there.
Okay.
And okay, I miss food from my country because you know, it's difficult culture and not easy to find in Cyprus. Okay. The achike is something that is from my country. Futu banan, and what else? Chepjen, this kind of food, you know, is food. And Ivory Coast is every football player from Ivory Coast that you ask him, what is the food that you miss? You're gonna say achike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Mm.
That's made out of couscous, isn't it? Isn't that made out of couscous?
Yes, it's made with cassava, actually. Yes, cassava. Yeah. Couscous of cassava.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. See, I'll go to my local African shop. I'll see if I can find you some Fofi, and I'll send you.
Yes, no. I have to invite you to Ivory Coast one day.
Hey, count me in. I'll be there. Listen, I've you know, Ernest Desante, that's our money. He's a good friend. I said to him, next time I go to the shop, I will buy super malts. You know, super malt, the drink. Yeah. I'll send him some. I'll send you some as well, because I know you're a big fan of super malt, right? Come on.
Yeah. Yes.
Lovely. Fofi, listen, I've got one more quick question. The way that you strike the ball, you know, it's almost as if you put your foot right through it, hit it with the laces. How do you get that technique perfected? Because there are a lot of young players that see how you hit the ball and they think, wow, how does he do it? Is it all about practice? Is there a special way of hitting the ball?
Is a practice. You know, it's a practice. Practice makes you perfect, as they say. You know, at my young age, I practice a lot the shoot until I remember when I have a good shoot with my right foot before, and with my left foot, I work on it because I was injured. I remember in 2008, 2009 from ACL in Portugal, and when I come back, so the injury was my right knee. So I start to play, to shoot with my left foot, all the time in the practice because I was scared a little bit. So whenever I was practicing to shoot with my left foot, and with the year, I was become very easy for me to strike with my left foot and my right foot also.
Brilliant, fantastic. And just one more quick thing, Fofi, for any young Omonoia supporter, any youngster that's watching this that plays for a youth team or anywhere in the world, what advice would you give them in terms of their football career and especially off the field?
The advice I can give to the young players, and especially for the young Cypriot players, because I've been playing many years here in Cyprus, and I've seen a lot of young talent Cypriot players. Nothing's come easy. What I want to say actually to the young players, when you are dedicated to something, when you give yourself, that's you love what you do, and if you choose the football, you have to love the football. You have to give your time to football. Nothing come easy, and to achieve in football, you have to have a passion. You have to have passion, dedicated to football trainings. You have to love the training. You have to love to learn from the oldest, and to never give up. This is something in football. If you never give up, your day is gonna come. This for sure, 100%.
Fantastic words. Thank you, Fofi. Really appreciate it.
If you don't mind me, I know we passed maybe our time, and I'd like to thank you again for the time you dedicated to us. But I can't help but ask you, as we're getting past the halfway towards the championship, there's a lot of teams close, they're title contenders, and you're an experienced player. You've been in Cyprus for many years. How do you see the end of the season? Who do you think is closer to winning the title this year? Obviously, Omonoia winning today was very important. We're top of the league again, but there's Apollon who signed a lot of very good players, IL signing players, Anorthos is signing players. The difference not that big. Is probably the first time in many years that we've seen so many teams contending for the title. And I'd like to ask your opinion as a player and as someone who's, his opinion weighs a bit more because obviously you've lived in Cyprus for so many years. So I'd like to ask your opinion. How do you see the end of the season, ending, and who's closer to the title in your mind, or what's going to make the difference? All of that, just before we let you go.
It's true that this year is there is a lot of like Anorthosis, Apollon trying to, and IL also are trying to win the league, and this is something that is don't happen a lot of times. And this year there is a lot of continent to win the league, and for me the difference will be in the derbies. Will be in the derbies. So we win more the derbies, gonna make it to be a champion.
Okay.
And I hope this year we are champion with the yes, with the cup, to celebrate, like a normal champion. Last year we are Omonoia was champion, but ours was. But the feeling will be different this year if we win, the league, at the end of the championship. But I believe that Omonoia gonna have a big chance to be champion this year.
Okay, thank you.
Because the squad is a great squad. I love the mix of the experienced player and the young players, and this is helping too much Omonoia the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
Well, Fofi, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's quite late in Cyprus, and thank you, Roy, because obviously you're in Cyprus as well. Fofi, before we let you go, do you want to tell our listeners or viewers where they can find you on social media? Because I know you use Instagram quite a bit.
Yes, Instagram, Facebook. Actually, I use Instagram and Facebook, and is Fofana in my Instagram, as you know, Fofana 26, and my Facebook is Fofana Gaussou. I'm using these 2 platforms right now, and okay, whenever somebody want to reach me, so they can find me in Facebook and in Instagram.
Fantastic, thank you, bro. Roy?
Yeah. Again, I mean, I'm here as a guest, and I'm so honored, and I want to thank Stel, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. Actually, it's a dream of mine coming true to be able to have a platform to talk to, players. Anyone who has to do with Omonoia is like a dream. It's like a dream for me, So I would like to thank you, Fofi, and Stel again. And I'm not going to stop saying that for every time I get the opportunity to be part of this. So thank you very, very much, and I wish the best.
You're welcome. You're welcome. For me, I want to thank you also. Since I leave Omonoia, I don't have the opportunity, maybe to say something to the fans, to tell them how's my life is going after Omonoia. And today, you guys give me the opportunity to to speak about a little bit my life, my career, and everything. And I want to thank you also for the opportunity you gave me today.
Fofi, it's our pleasure. And whenever you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to. We can talk about the Omonoia matches. We're going to do reviews of games and everything. If you want to do that, then it'll be great to have you on the team.
Yeah, for me, just to find time, and I don't have any problem. For me, will be great. It will be great.
There you go. There you go, Gobella. You heard it here. Fofi is part of the No Chocolates crew. There. See, we got him. We've got him. Right, that's it for another podcast. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Right, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Same, Fofi. All the best to you and your family and your career, Fofi. It was
okay, thank you so much. I hope we keep in touch.
100%. 100%.
Thank you.
Before we go, I just need to say, everyone hit that subscribe button. Okay, we need more subscribers.
Yeah,
hit that like button.
Subscribe for more news. Subscribe, guys. Please
subscribe. There you go. So that's it for another episode. Roy, do you want to take it away?
Πάμε σιλάκα μου.
Edo.